Season has been wild. What's your most disappointing team so far? Well, Cody, if I gave you one team, it wouldn't be really good for our algorithm because it would be like a 2-minute video. So I'm going to give you 3 teams. Notre Dame is my most disappointing team so far this year. It's the first 0-2 start since 2011. They are coming off most recently. I think the last time you saw them was off that loss to Marshall. And they were 20.5-point home favorites there. And that was tied for like the third worst loss. It was bad stat. A lot of bad stats coming out of that game. So right now, they go into this week at North Carolina. They have 3 passing touchdowns. They have 3 interceptions. It has been terrible. They beat Cal last week, so they got back on track. That's Marcus Freeman's first win as head coach at Notre Dame. They are 113th in points per game this year. Now, I'm not telling you I expected something drastically different than that. I'm telling you I expected them to be better than the bottom 5th of college football. Yeah, I expected them to be a little bit better than that. So Notre Dame so far has been my most underachieving, disappointing team. And the other part of that Marshall loss, as you saw and as we've talked about already, was not just that they got beat. Those upsets sometimes happen. It's normally your -5 turnovers. It's normally they score 17 non-offensive points, and it's just a crazy day. That wasn't what that game was like. They got physically owned against Marshall. Keep going back to the Tim O'Malley quote. If this game would have more quarters on it, Marshall would have pulled away further and further. Not a good look. Not a good look. So they've still got a lot of season left. That means they still have a lot of quality opponents left, too. West Virginia's playing as we speak. And intentionally, I'm not looking at the screen over here because I got it playing. But regardless of what happens tonight, West Virginia's been pretty disappointing as well. It's their first 0-2 start, or they had their first 0-2 start since 1979. That's a long time ago, guys. A long time ago. Pitt and Kansas. Those are the 2 games that you watch them lose to start the season. They finally got a win against, I think it was Towson last week, but man, that Kansas game, that was really a shock to the senses there. The Pitt game could have gone either way, and, there's that whole we should have won, whatever. You didn't win. But the Kansas game, I went back and watched it earlier today. I watched the condensed version of it. And they were just stunned, I think, by the quarterback play that Kansas brought in there. But what upset those folks the most is they watched Lance Leopold come in there. He's been there less time than Neil Brown. And he's overturned a program quicker than Neil Brown has, and he beat them, West Virginia, in their own building. And understandably, it did not sit right with him. It didn't sit right with me, and I'm not even invested in the program. But man, so they look around, and they're just now about to enter Big 12 play. They're playing Virginia Tech right now. That's not even a conference game. They're about to enter Big 12 play. And we did a hot seat segment the other night, and I threw Neil Brown in there. I don't think he's there yet, but he's at least being talked about. When I talk to folks that kind of live in that world, his name's on the periphery. So at the very least, yeah, it's been disappointing. They could be rectifying it as we speak for all I know, but it's pretty disappointing. The third team's a little off the radar. We haven't talked about him a lot. But man, Boston College, disappointing. They are 17.5-point dogs this Saturday. To give you an idea, they play Florida State, by the way. To give you an idea, our model loves Boston College Saturday. Loves them. Pegs them as one of the highest percentage cover probabilities of any team in college football Saturday. And I'm not going to bet them. I'm going to tell you why. I don't think that model grasps what's happening with Boston College's offensive line, because what's happening with their O-line is basically off the scale of college football normalcy. And so I don't think the model can even account for it. So I think it's looking at that number and it sees, whoa, 17.5, that's way too many points. It's not. It's not. Odds makers and people who have bet that number up there, they know what they're doing. I'm staying far away from it. Boston College, are averaging 48 yards per rush, or 48 total rushing yards a game. That's 1.7. It's one of the worst numbers in college football. Also, here's how bad the offensive line is there. Not only can they not run the ball, they've allowed 25 tackles for loss this year, 12 sacks already through 3 games. They've lost 3 projected offensive linemen. They've lost a tight end. They are playing walk-ons on offensive line. And it's so bad. I mean, Phil Dracovic is the starting quarterback there. They can't even get out of the blocks. I mean, you can understand how upset he's been That's a guy who has NFL potential. That's a guy who was supposed to be using this year to hopefully take Boston College to the next level, but at the very least, he was a guy that was going to put 2022 on his NFL tape and his NFL draft tape, and they're terrible. And he can't get anything done as a result. And so Boston College, I don't know what I expected from him, but it was a lot better than this. So I'll go Notre Dame, West Virginia, and Boston College as my three most disappointing teams. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.